Imagine you're standing in a forest 20,000 years ago. No stores, no labels, no Google. Just you, an empty stomach, and a bush full of unfamiliar red berries. You reach out. You hesitate, because one wrong bite could be your last meal, literally. So here's the question that should honestly keep you up at night. How did ancient humans figure out which plants would feed them and which ones would kill them? No books, no warnings, no poison control hotline. Just instinct, trial, and an alarming amount of bravery. You'd think the answer is simple. They just knew, right? Wrong. The real story is stranger, darker, and far more brilliant than that. It involves biology hijacking your taste buds, humans literally copying monkeys' ancient chemistry with zero chemistry, and a system of knowledge sharing so effective it made modern nutrition science possible. Let's rewind the clock. Picture Earth before agriculture, before cities, before written language, just endless wilderness, and inside it, tens of thousands of plant species, many edible, many completely harmless looking but lethal. Early humans weren't just hunters. They were foragers first, and food was everywhere and nowhere at the same time. There was no user manual for nature, no little skull and crossbones icon on a leaf, just texture, color, smell, and consequences. If you got it wrong, there was no ambulance, no hospital, just you, your tribe, and whatever happened next. And yet, humans survived, not by luck, by developing one of the most underrated superpowers in our evolutionary history, the ability to learn from pain and pass that lesson on before it repeated. Try to picture the scale of this problem. Thousands of plant species, similar-looking leaves, nearly identical berries. Even today, some of the deadliest plants on Earth, like deadly nightshade, look almost identical to their edible cousins. One plant feeds you. Its twin kills you in under an hour. Early humans didn't have field guides. They had memory, and memory alone isn't reliable when you're hungry and desperate. So how did they not simply die out within a few generations? Turns out, evolution had already installed a warning system right inside your mouth. Here's something wild. Bitterness in nature is basically evolution's red flag. Many toxic compounds, alkaloids specifically, taste intensely bitter. Babies today, without being taught anything, instinctively spit out bitter substances. That's not a preference. That's a survival mechanism baked into your DNA millions of years before language even existed. So imagine an early human biting into an unfamiliar root. It tastes sharp, bitter, almost burning. Their body, not their brain, makes the decision instantly. Spit. Now, this is nature's built-in poison detector, and it's shockingly accurate, though not perfect, because some deadly plants taste sweet, which meant humans needed backup systems. And this is where things get genuinely fascinating. Here's a theory that sounds almost too simple to be true, but it's supported by real anthropological research. Early humans watched what animals ate. If a bird could eat a berry and fly away fine, that was a decent, though imperfect, signal. If a bear devoured a root and kept walking, that mattered. Animals became living experiments, and humans, ever the opportunists, took notes. But here's where things get strange. Animals process toxins differently than we do. Birds can eat berries that would drop a human in minutes. So this method wasn't foolproof. It was one clue among many, not a guarantee. Which meant humans still needed a far riskier method to fill the gaps. Someone, somewhere, had to be first. The first human to try a new root. The first to test an unfamiliar mushroom. Anthropologists call this trial and error learning, but that phrase is far too clean for what it actually meant. It meant illness, vomiting, sometimes death. Entire communities likely lost members testing what was safe to eat. And every single failure became data, passed on, whispered, remembered, turned into warning stories told around fires for generations. Funny enough, this makes early humans the world's first unpaid, unlicensed research scientists. Minus the lab coats, plus significantly worse job security. Here's something most people never consider. Oral storytelling wasn't just entertainment. It was survival software. Myths about cursed plants or forbidden fruits weren't superstition for the sake of superstition. Many were coded warnings, passed down so children wouldn't repeat fatal mistakes. Anthropologists studying modern hunter-gatherer societies, like groups in the Amazon and parts of Africa, found something remarkable. Their oral traditions contain extraordinarily accurate botanical knowledge, distinguishing safe from toxic plants with precision that rivals written scientific classification. All stored not in books, but in memory, rhythm, and repetition. Then archaeologists discovered something that turned this entire theory from clever guesswork into hard evidence. At Shanidar Cave in Iraq, researchers found Neanderthal burial sites containing pollen from medicinal plants, species still used today for their healing properties. This wasn't random. This suggested intentional plant selection, tens of thousands of years before modern medicine existed. Then there's Ötzi the Iceman, the 5,000-year-old mummy discovered in the Alps. Inside his remains, researchers found traces of specific plants used for their antibacterial and medicinal properties. Alongside evidence he was self-treating parasites. This wasn't guesswork. This was applied botanical knowledge, refined over thousands of years, embedded so deeply into daily survival that even a man dying alone in the mountains carried it with him. Here's the part that genuinely blows people's minds. Some of humanity's most important food plants, like cassava, a staple crop for millions today, are naturally toxic in their raw form. Left untreated, cassava can release cyanide compounds into the body. And yet ancient societies figured out how to soak it, ferment it, and cook it in precise multi-day processes to remove the toxins entirely, without knowing a single word of modern chemistry. No molecular theory, no lab equipment, generations of careful observation refined into ritual. Everything changed once humans realized poison wasn't always a dead end. Sometimes, it was simply a puzzle, waiting to be solved. So here's the big twist tying everything together. It wasn't one method that kept ancient humans alive. It was a layered system. Instinct rejecting bitterness, animal observation offering rough clues, controlled risk-taking generating real data, oral tradition preserving that data for generations, and preparation techniques neutralizing danger entirely. In other words, ancient humans weren't guessing. They built, piece by piece, generation after generation, one of history's first true knowledge systems. Not written, not formalized, but remarkably intelligent. Every time you eat something today without a second thought, a salad, a stew, a slice of bread, you're benefiting from thousands of years of ancestors who tested, suffered, remembered, and taught. Behind every safe plant on your plate is an invisible chain of human courage stretching back into deep prehistory. They didn't have textbooks. They had trust, memory, and each other. And somehow, that was enough to keep an entire species alive, long enough to build everything we call civilization today. If you enjoyed this journey into the past, subscribe, because next time, we're uncovering another mystery that shaped humanity.